Hello viewers. So my last karting video did really well actually. I think a lot of people wanted to see more of it, and here I am in Spa. So let's start off with how it went in the sprints. So this is the beginning of my very first practice session. So I have a heat to do, about half an hour. It's half an hour race, but just before that we have a 10-minute session here. This is my very first ever lap around the circuit, so I'm trying to learn it. I have no idea what I'm doing, and that applies all the time, not just now. But let's see what we can do then around the circuit. I've watched a couple of videos before I came here, just to really try to get an understanding of it, but it's not really any substitute for actually just driving the track. So just tried to tuck in behind some people here, as this guy goes for a savage lunge, smashing up the competition, and we can bring back the Forza lobby jokes as he tries to retake him there. So it's a very fast circuit. There's lots of fast sweeping corners. There are a couple of tight hairpins, or one tight hairpin in the middle, but the majority of the track is actually very, very fast and flowing, and it's actually a very good circuit. So that was my first lap, a real eye-opener for the Spa track. I'm trying to get used to it as quickly as possible. 95% up to the pace, but it's always hard to get that last couple of percent. So just building up then to the beginning of the race. So rolling start, as you can see here, forming into two lines. I'm starting very close towards the back. Now the best preparation you can have for any race is obviously Havana's nightclub, where we spent far too long. I think I got home about 4 AM and had to be up for 7. Let's see if that pays dividends here then at Spa for our first race, starting 32nd on the grid out of 35. As we build up to the start of the race, over the line we go. There we go, lap 1 of 33, a 30-minute race. Let's see what we can do. Through turns 1 and 2, plenty of carnage, lots of pushing. Sportsmanship ratings going down by the millisecond. And I move to the left-hand side here, try to get that inside line. About 8 cars to the right-hand side, all span off there. People in the gravel on the right as well. And then we've got about 18 abreast going into the hairpin, even though it's wide enough for about 3. Up the inside, into the back of Costa, the Greek god of speed. Lose a bit of momentum. Around the outside goes Stu Martin, Jeff Lamb up the inside as well. And someone else up the inside, so I lost 3 positions there. Just from one tiny mistake, just shows you. One error, and you can lose lots of momentum, lots of time, lots of positions. Through the last sweeping right hand into the final chicane, crucial corner this, as it leads out onto a long uphill straight. So you do need to get that right, of course. So over the line we go. Now losing 3 positions at the second half of that lap, but we gained 15 overall for that lap. So I was plus 18 at one point. It just shows you how manic it was. Raising a left hand. Yellow flag into this turn. Kart still being recovered from the gravel. Very nice sweeping double left-hander there into the hairpin here, the real choke point of the circuit. As we then come into this little right-hander here. Now the main thing I noticed quite quickly was I felt as though the low-end acceleration on this kart wasn't the absolute best. I was struggling coming out of that chicane, or the hairpin. That's my driver excuse anyway. So if I don't win, it's because of that, and it's always because of that. Coming through the final chicane, there you can see just how close this is in this big group up ahead. There's a big swarm of about 15 cars, or about 10 carts up ahead, and just trying to really pick our way through the best we can. Looks for the move there. Can I go to the left hand side? The space just opens up. I'm going to take advantage and move up position and just cover the inside line into this very fast left. You just need a very slight lift, or very slight dab of the brakes going into that turn. This guy's up the inside. I'm going to follow him through. Can I get the job done? Yes, I can. Then into this right-hander here. It's a really awkward corner, that right-hander there, because normally, of course, going into a right-hander, you go all the way out to the left-hand side to get a best run through. But sometimes through that corner, it's best to sort of go in halfway, in the middle of the track, and not really open up the corner too much. So it's a really strange corner, and it was one that I struggled with throughout this race. I mean, it's the things like that you don't really know about when you come to a new track. These weird little differences, because that's not really like any other corner I've driven. It's quite a different one. So again, lots of battling up ahead, and that's just going to give me the invitation to try to get a little bit closer to this group as I've just dropped off slightly. So you can see about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 karts in this group. Guy up ahead goes for the move, and this is the problem here. You try to follow them through, but then you get on the left-hand side going into the right-hander, it doesn't quite work. And the jet flam's going to sweep them both to the side, and I'll gladly take 2 positions for free. Always handy when that happens. People love to just wipe each other out, and you don't have to put any effort in. There's no time loss, and you gain positions. We love that. We love that here at Interested.com. Interested.com was our team name. And if you go to Interested.com, you'll see that it's a fully refurbished, amazing website. One of the best on the whole internet, in fact. It was rated 5 stars out of 5 on TripAdvisor.com. So up behind this guy, I mean, I don't know who these people are, a lot of them, so just his name is this guy. As he drives a little bit wide and just gets onto that geo block, and that opens up the space. So halfway through that double left-hander, it's 2 corners really, but you could say it's sort of a double left. If you run a little bit wide on the exit of the first part, you get onto this very bumpy geo block, and you see here, this kind of, look at the difference between our 2 karts here. He just drives off slightly, and one thing I did notice about this race, about the racing in general, was the slipstream is very, very important. Not necessarily just to go past people, just to stick with people who are quicker. You can see the car ahead just slightly pulling away. There's not much I can do. So you are at the mercy of your kart, and the karts did seem to change throughout the weekend depending on sort of conditions. So you just had to, drive the best with what you've got. And for those worrying about, or worrying, probably not worrying, but wanting to know about the format for this exact round here, so there's 4 sprint races of half an hour each, and we've got a team of 4. Most people had a team of 3, but we had a team of 4, and obviously you just split the races between you, so we just had 1 each, of course. So this is my one, starting from 30 seconds. So your grid slot would average out to be the same as everyone else's. So of course you'd have some starting at the back, but then you'd have some starting in the middle, and there's some a little bit further forwards. The average being the same as every other team, so it's not unfair for anyone. So this was our furthest back start, starting 32nd, and just going to get retaken by this guy, which is actually his name. Turns out, found out, I did some research, and he's actually called this guy. Strange things going on here. So downhill, fast sweeping left-hander once again. Amazing turn that. You really feel the compression as you go through there. Got a bit of contact from behind there. Now you might not always see. You might not be able to see that. You might not be able to see how how much the compression is. You can't see the G-force through this camera. This is hopefully a lot smoother. Please do let me know, because on the Wilton Mill video there were lots of comments regarding the shakiness of the footage. This is being recorded on the HD Hero 7 by GoPro with its hyper smooth technology, so hopefully that should make it a lot better for you. And as a result, I suppose, of hyper smooth, it doesn't quite show you the grittiness, the bumpiness of the circuit, and the compression. You can't really see that, but trust me, you can feel it when you're actually there. Is the space going to open up here? I was always worried about going for the move into that corner, because I felt like the acceleration wasn't that great. I preferred this turn there. You can see it just opens up, but then again, not really much acceleration. So he comes back at me with a nice little cutback. So at this point here, let me just check my stats. I will link the results in the description if you lose another position there. So this point of the race is not going too well. I kind of sort of hit a brick wall in terms of gaining positions, but that's the end of lap 8, which we ended in 14th place, and we're going to lose another position there. So really not going totally well at this point. So I would say I often start very well. My lap 1s are very good, but at this point just kind of struggling, as it was it's my first ever race here, so not quite up to the speed I need to be. But you see just how big this group is up ahead. is again on the back foot. There is a large group here, as these guys are just going to fight each other again. Now look at this difference here. Guy on the left just gets that slight bit more acceleration, gains like half a kart length. So yeah, I mean, my excuse for this one was that I was struggling coming out of that turn. I needed to adjust the way I was driving slightly, but it's not always easy when your car isn't quite there. But just doing the best I possibly can. And typically over the course of the 4 races, so we have 4 races, as I said, your carts are going to roughly balance out. So you just have to deal with what you've got basically, and try the best you can to drive around the issue. So coming again downhill, fast couple of corners, absolutely love it. Into the hairpin, choke point. Is anyone going to go for a move? Yes, they are. Up the inside he goes. And again, we've got this issue here where you get to the left-hand side. It's the only place I could go, and it just opens me up to another move. So it was quite a frustrating kind of part of the race here, where I wasn't quite in tune with that hairpin into the right-hander, opening up the right-hander, people going up the inside. There wasn't really anywhere I could have gone otherwise, other than going to the back of the guy in front, and then probably just accelerating really slowly, losing a position anyway. So across the line we go, end of lap 10, one more lap and then we've done a third of the race. So at this point here, where are we? We're sitting in 12th position at this point. Actually, wait, we'll just go back one lap on that. We are sitting in 13th position, no, 14th at this point, 14th right now, just trying to keep track of it as we come through the hairpin. So again, a very big group, just really trying to get through it as quick as possible, but I'm not really quite managing that at the moment. So that guy gets run wide, and again, when you got the situation here where there's 2 abreast, you can just kind of force your way through by following the one on the inside, which we've done. So gain 2 positions back, just trying to maximise the slipstream as much as possible. So at the Wilton Mill video I put the AI on very easy, but here I think I've put it on about medium because I'm struggling a little bit more than I usually would. Across the line we go. That's a third of the race done. So end of lap 11, sitting now in 12th place, up behind Ballinger Law. As we're going to move ahead to lap 13 now. So lap 12, mostly nothing happened. Hands are getting waved in the air. Just spot up ahead. But there's a big group here. We could still gain plenty of positions. Now, one thing that one other thing about the racing here is that it's done by groups. So our team is in the elite group. There's 3 groups, so elite, premier, and clubman. So even though you are racing everyone at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, Le Mans. So if an LMP2 car is up ahead of an LMP1 car, the LMP1 car technically isn't behind that car, because you're only racing against people in your category. So a lot of these people ahead are in the lower category, but I'm technically, it doesn't even matter because I'm only really racing against people in my own category. So turn 1 didn't go well there, got lunged again. This guy in the yellow helmet, we seem to be going back past each other about 4,000 times so far. And again, opening up the right-hander, and luckily no one went up the inside there. And I can't quite get the run on the exit, it just didn't really have that speed, so it's quite a difficult race, especially in that middle sector. But you can see just how close this group up ahead is, and I just relish this situation, not just in real life racing but in virtual racing, because when you have a big group, you just know that something's going to go down very soon. Coming up the main straight, keeping up this toe. If I'm right in the slipstream of someone, you can keep up, but if you lose that toe, it becomes a lot more difficult. So you just really have to do your best to get a good run through that chicane. And look at this, just going for 2 moves in 2 corners, so absolutely just turning it on like Ayrton Senna at Monaco, as we go past 2 drivers on lap 15 so far. Can we make it a hat trick in 1 lap? Too far to go for a lunge into that turn. And the group up ahead is still very close, 2x2 formation up there. As we come through this turn, driver ahead just drives a little bit wide, opens up the space on the way out, and we're just going to take that position. Coming down this downhill section into the fast sweeping right-hander, and then into the chicane to round out the lap. Nice clubhouse on the left-hand side. They're still under construction, but a very nice building. Okay, across the line, end of lap 15. Okay, let's see where we are. End of lap 15, up to 10th at this point. So that was a gain of 3 positions on that lap. So just beginning to get really into the race now, and just learn the intricacies of the circuit. And just again waiting. There's a yellow flag there. I was just hoping someone's going to send in a ridiculous lunge and murder about 8 people. Didn't quite happen there, but it might happen here. As Jeff Lamb up the inside, and they just make contact. Let's put it in slow-mo just for drama, and he gets sent to the Shadow Realm. So Jeff Lamb getting that kill spree, and going to follow him through. I mean, his car, I must say, it was an absolute missile. Let's see it down the straight here, coming through the chicane into that toe as much as possible. Look at the gap between us. We've got a similar run for that chicane, and there's just not much I can do. I'm just losing a tiny bit of ground, just trying to keep in that toe as much as possible. Maybe it's a good idea just to stay behind a fast kart and let them tow you down the straights a little bit. Lap 17. Where are we at lap 17? 9th position. We're into the top 10, but we are behind 2 teams who are not in our category. So we're actually 7th in our class at the moment. So the driver at the front of this group in the black suit, white helmet, or black suit, white, blue and black helmet. So not the 2 in front, but the 1 in front of them. That's in our class. So we can get past that person. We're going to gain an actual position. Into the final chicane, lap 17, going through there nicely, just trying to get through as smoothly as possible. It's actually a very difficult corner to get right. Guy ahead goes very defensive, and this is the problem, I suppose. This is a very big problem you can come up against when you're racing multiple classes, because you can get stuck in a battle between another class, which you really don't want to be part of, because you're not really... Oh, actually, there's someone parked right in the middle of that corner. Let's come up to the hairpin. No yellow flag, but not really close enough to go for the move. And it looks like we've got a back mark here who's just going to sort of point us all through. So minimal delay past him. As was that a back marker? I don't know. But anyway, they're pointing us through as we come through down the hill. At the end of lap, this is lap 24 now, so a couple of laps going by. So the early laps were really, really difficult, part of that group, and it was very hard to kind of get out of it. But at this point here, lap number 30, let's skip ahead on my sheet here. So by this point, I'm sitting in 7th place, and the 2 ahead are for class, so we could gain 2 positions, actual positions here. Goes up the inside, looks for that move. Again, got this problem here where I'm on the left hand side, can't do anything, although this driver must have just sort of vanished into thin air as I actually make the position. So the 2 of us have gained here, going up into 5th and 6th. I'm actually in 6th place overall, who would have guessed? At this point here, sitting in 6th, 5th in class, but 6th overall. So we could go for 4th in class, which wouldn't be too bad. And we'll go through the results of my other teammates just after this race. But we have 2 laps to go with a position to be gained. So the guy in the blue suit, green helmet, is not for the class. So if we overtake him, we don't actually gain a position. So really, it's just about this fight here. Now all the people ahead, so 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, all started ahead of me in the race. So let's not forget we're starting 32nd here. So it's always going to be difficult to really come through and win the race. It's almost impossible unless everyone really just gets mullered wide into the gravel or something. And you've got to get very lucky in some respect, I suppose. You've got to have a good kart. You've got to hope that some people crash or really get held up. Across the line we go. 1 lap to go. Looking for that move, but again, just can't quite get enough momentum into that corner. So it's really difficult. But it's a good race so far. So sitting in 6th, I mean, that's still a gain of about 26 positions at this point. And again, looking for the move, not quite there. Perhaps save it for the hairpin. But again, not quite close enough. It would be a ridiculous lunge, I think, to go for it from that far back. Trying to get a good exit from here. again, just the gap opens up slightly into this corner here, which was probably, for me, the best overtaking opportunity on the lap. So with about 3 corners left to go, this corner not really a good one to go for a move. There's not really any braking zone for that one. Last opportunity into the chicane, although it requires a very brave move, and he's half covered it off. We're trying to get the run out of the turn and go for the move up to the line. It's not quite going to happen as we cross the line to finish in 6th place overall, 5th place in class. It's a very difficult race that. I struggled for a lot of it. So that was a good learning process, that race. Learned a lot about the track, and still coming through from 32nd to 6th. I'll take that. I'll happily take that. Now, in terms of the team's results, so there's 4 races. You can get rid of your worst result, and it happened to be that my race was actually the worst result, finishing 5th in class. So this battle here, one of my teammates in the white suit there, just got past on the lot. This is the last lap. That was for the lead. So we went down to 2nd in that race. So we've got a 5th and a 2nd. And this was the very first race. So our teammate there, black suit, white helmet, number 2, interested.com, was hunting down the guy in the orange suit. And you see a lap later, just that gap coming down slowly. Well, actually, by this point, quite quickly. So that was with about 2 laps to go. And then by the end, I was just putting my suit on and my helmet on to get ready for my race, and he actually got the job done. We managed to win that race. Our other result was 3rd, so we got a 1st, 2nd and 3rd, and I got a 5th. So good results. We won that round, so good stuff. And I was actually the worst performing driver. But there we go. Thank you so much for watching as always. That isn't all for Spa. There is another video coming very soon. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.